Yeah. Sorry for the delay, folks. Okay. Sorry for the delay. Had an unveiling that had to be at. And but we're back. Actually interesting, just for to appreciate. From a Jewish perspective, we don't have an unveiling. It's actually not a Jewish custom. Jewish custom is what's called Hakamas Matseva, is the the erecting of a tombstone, putting a tombstone up. That is the importance. The unveiling is like, you cover it over and now you unveil it. It's sort of like, voila, sort of pomp and ceremony, Hollywood kind of stuff. That's as they say in French, American shtick. In any case, people do it. But the most importantly is that we said prayers by the graveside for the departed. And that's the most important thing. Okay. Again, sorry for the delay, but I'm seeing that people are coming on. Wonderful. We'll take a moment. We'll say hello to Michael in Germany, Julia in Pennsylvania, Mordechai in Massachusetts, Diane in Arizona, Leah in Florida, Joseph in New Jersey, Carmen in Texas, Margot in Belgium, Stan in London, England, Daphne in South Carolina, Eugenia in Calgary, John in North Carolina, Tim is in Texas, Elise in West Virginia. All right, beautiful. Okay, folks, today we conclude the 25th letter. Yesterday we went through great details of appreciating what it concept of anger management from a Tanya perspective. There would be nothing to manage of anger if we follow the Tanya teachings. Today, the Alter Rebbe now turns his attention to those who spoke against the Baal Shem Tov and his teachings. He turns his attention to them. And they got stuck on the fact that the Baal Shem Tov, who spoke in Yiddish, and what was written from his words were in Hebrew. So they said the word, translate the word shorsa, which means to dwell, rather than hislabshus, which means to be enclosed. Meaning like this: to dwell means is like, the divine presence of God dwelling is in a revealed way. Enclosed doesn't necessarily mean revealed, because actually, like, what do clothing do? They kind of you know, hide the person, right? They beautify the person, but still hide of the person. So this is where the distinction is. When we say evildoers, evildoers, can we say that the divine presence of God, remember, there's no two powers over here, there's only God, and then the spark of God is of Malchus of the world of Asiya, to say in the heathen, pagan individual, um, to say that obviously it's not dwelling, this presence of God is not dwelling there, because they're doing evil, acting out evil, right? Being disruptive, just, because they don't like someone praying to God. So where is God's energy and force in that individual? It's enclosed in them, not dwelling in them in an open, revealed way. It's enclosed in exile, right? So if they have a difficulty with that, well, their complaint should be addressed to the Arizal, because he's the one who said that evildoers have the spark of God that is enclosed in them, but yet in a hidden way, in a manner of exile, right? So if they have a challenge, the challenge is to the Arizal, and the Arizal lived in the 16th century. He is the modern day father of Kabbalistic teachings, and he taught this concept. So if they have anybody to complain to, it's the Arizal. But the Arizal is accepted teachings of an understanding of God's presence in this world. It's accepted, period. For my part, says the Alter Rebbe, but I'm coming on to explain the Baal Shem Tov, because he's I'm a disciple of his. And the Baal Shem Tov is taking from the Arizal his teachings, that God's presence is in the lowest of places. God is everywhere. As we believe in simple, perfect faith, without the teachings of Kabbalah, without teachings of the Arizal, we believe, as the verse says in Jeremiah, God says, do I not fill heavens and the earth, says God. So God's everywhere, talking about God himself. So this is an article of faith that every single Jew has lived with, without the Arizal is giving a depth of understanding, but without that depth of understanding, it was an article of faith before him. It wasn't because of the Arizal. Now we believe in God's presence even in an evildoer. Again, presence meaning not revealed presence, right? Enclosed, as it will, the spark of God, right? It's only now we've come to understand it based on the Arizal's teachings. And as the Alter Rebbe says, I'm only coming to explain my teachers, the Mizitcher Magid, his Rebbe, and his Rebbe's Rebbe, the Alter, I mean the the Baal Shem Tov. However, he says it's impossible to explain clearly in writing, only orally to an ear that hears and understands it, and a uniquely qualified any individual, he says. Now, He says the Alter Rebbe now. Remember, these are opponents against the Hasidic movement, who he is addressing in this letter, and that they should now appreciate teachings of the Baal Shem Tov, a single passage of his, and if this was something that now they get greater clarity in what Baal Shem Tov's teaching is, maybe this will then inspire some those who are opponents of the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov's, Mr. Magid, and the Alter Rebbe's teachings, opponents. Maybe this will open them up and they'll be ready to hear more. And if they're ready to hear more, if they desire, then an appropriate person from the community should come and I will teach them further face to face. And he concludes, may God be with my mouth and as I speak, and may the words of my mouth find favor. And concludes chapter 25. So Alter Rebbe is inviting those who are opponents to his teachings, those who are opponents to the Baal Shem Tov's teachings, Zitcher Magid's teachings, come. I've shown now through this letter, an in-depth understanding of what the Baal Shem Tov said. And again, just to repeat, his teachings was that a pagan heathen was disrupting. He gave it as an example, disrupting a Jew who's praying. So he said that the spark of God, the Shechina, Malchus of Atzilus, that comes all the way down to Malchus of Asiya, right? Malchus royalty, the word of God, is in this evildoer that's animating this evildoer, that they can speak the evil that they speak. As we explained yesterday, we don't have our own energy pack behind us. We're not energizing bunny that we recreate our own energy. God gives us the energy. He gives us the power. So it's not two different entities, the Godhood and the Satanhood, and they're battling. No, it's all from God. It's a spark of God. And the term that was used in the Baal Shem Tov's teachings, translating from his Yiddish into Hebrew, was sharsa, which means a dwelling, which means revealed presence of God. Evildoer, there's no revealed presence of God. God is hidden. In exile, that spark of God that's animating the individual. So it really meant to be hislabshus, which means enclothement. And enclothement means that, yes, the spark of God is there, enclothed in the evildoer, in their act of evil that they're speaking or doing. And that's what he came to explain at great length, how that is the case in all the previous classes we had. I briefly mentioned it here. And therefore, perfectly aligned with the Arizal's teachings, which everybody accepts. And if everybody has an issue with that, take it up with the Arizal. And therefore, it's perfectly understood. All right. That concludes this amazing letter. Any questions? Any comments? Any thoughts? So let's say hello to some people we didn't say hello to. Joe and Jeff in Michigan, Joe in Washington State, Yesim in, I forgot, you have to remind me, Leah in Florida, Sarah in California, Irma in St. Martin, Robert in London, England. I think everybody else I mentioned earlier. Yeah. All right. Amazing. Oh, and Amy is with us in Colorado. And Lori in North Carolina. Look at that. Acoy, Lima, Peru. All right. Thanks for all sticking around. Amazing. Ah, indeed. Thank you all. Um, there's not going to be a Rambam today. We'll continue tomorrow. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, come to you for Chabad Zich and Kadesh in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege.